Experience prototyping. Marion Bucanal IEO San Francisco Pier 28 Annex, The Embarcadero San Francisco, CA 94105 USA Bucanal at ideo.com. Jane Fulton Sui IEO San Francisco Pier 28 Annex, The Embarcadero San Francisco, CA 94105 USA Jane at ideo.com Abstract. In this paper, we describe experience prototyping as a form of prototyping that enables design team members, users, and clients to gain first-hand appreciation of existing or future conditions through active engagement with prototypes. We use examples from commercial design projects to illustrate the value of such prototypes in three critical design activities: understanding existing experiences, exploring design ideas, and in communicating design concepts. Keywords: prototyping, experience, design, methods. Introduction. Increasingly, as designers of interactive systems, spaces, processes, and products for people, we find ourselves stretching the limits of prototyping tools to explore and communicate what it will be like to interact with the things we design. Prototypes are representations of a design made before final artifacts exist. They are created to inform both design process and design decisions. They range from sketches and different kind of models at various levels, looks like, behaves like, works like, to explore and communicate propositions about the design and its context. As such, prototyping is a key activity within the design of interactive systems. Several groups of designers and researchers, perhaps most notably at Apple Computer, Xerox PARC, and Interval Research, have been active both in pushing the boundaries of prototyping beyond the range of traditional methods 1, 2, and in developing understanding of the value of different forms of prototype. For example, Howd and Hill 7 discuss various functions for prototypes as being essentially about the role an artifact will play, its look and feel, and how it will be implemented. Other work has explored issues such as different levels of fidelity 17, prototypes for different audiences 5, 16, and models for use in the context of participatory design 4, 12. Further, prototyping as a design practice is now promoted within the business community as a key element in innovation 10, 13. Building from this foundation, designers at IDEO are working to expand internal prototyping practices to embody the concept of experience prototyping as an integrated part of the design process. In this paper, we will discuss what we mean by experience prototyping, why we think it is important, and then look at its application within three key design activities: understanding, exploring, and communicating, through examples from design projects. What is experience prototyping? First, let's think for a moment about what we mean by experience. Experience is a very dynamic, complex, and subjective phenomenon. It depends upon the perception of multiple sensory qualities of a design, interpreted through filters relating to contextual factors. For example, what is the experience of a run down a mountain on a snowboard? It depends upon the weight and material qualities of the board, the bindings and your boots, the snow conditions, the weather, the terrain, the temperature of air in your hair, your skill level, your current state of mind, the mood and expression of your companions. The experience of even simple artifacts does not exist in a vacuum, but rather, in dynamic relationship with other people, places and objects. Additionally, the quality of people's experience changes over time as it is influenced by variations in these multiple contextual factors. With respect to prototyping, our understanding of experience is close to what Howd and Hill call the look and feel of a product or system, that is the concrete sensory experience of using an artifact, what the user looks at, feels, and hears while using it. But experience goes beyond the concrete sensory. Inevitably, we find ourselves asking questions about the role which Howd and Hill define as the functions that an artifact serves in a user's life, the way in which it is useful to them. And even more than this, when we consider experience, we must be aware of the important influences of contextual factors, such as social circumstances, time pressures, environmental conditions, etc. By the term experience prototype, we mean to emphasize the experimental aspect of whatever representations are needed to successfully realize or convey an experience with a product, space or system. So, for an operational permission to make digital or hard copies of all or part of this work for personal or classroom use is granted without fee, provided that copies are not made or distributed for profit or commercial advantage, and that copies bear this notice, and the full citation on the first page. To copy otherwise, or republish, to post on servers or to redistribute to lists, requires prior specific permission, and/or a fee. DIS 2000, Brooklyn, New York. Copyright 2000 ACM 1-58113-219-0000008, $5.00. 425. Definition: we can say an experience prototype is any kind of representation, in any medium, that is designed to understand, explore or communicate what it might be like to engage with the product, space or system we are designing. Obviously, this can include design prototyping techniques such as storyboards 15, scenarios 14, sketches 17, video, or step-through Macromedia Director trademark symbol simulations, all of which certainly add value by communicating elements that make up an experience. But they do this to a mainly passive audience. For the sake of this paper, we wish to focus on the methods and techniques which support active participation to provide a relevant subjective experience. In discovery, there is a continuum that extends from being told about something, seeing for yourself, to doing it yourself. Quoting the Chinese philosopher Lao Tse, "What I hear I forget. What I see, I remember. What I do, I understand." When we use the term experience prototyping, we are talking about methods that allow designers, clients or users to experience it themselves, rather than witnessing a demonstration or someone else's experience. One of the basic tenets of the concept is that experience is, by its nature, subjective, and that the best way to understand the experiential qualities of an interaction is to experience it subjectively. Experience prototyping is less a set of techniques than it is an attitude, allowing the designer to think of the design problem in terms of designing an integrated experience, rather than one or more specific artifacts. Why is experience important? Why now? More and more we find ourselves designing complex and dynamic interactions with converging hardware and software, spaces and services, products such as mobile digital communication devices, or systems of connected interactions such as those which occur on a train journey or an internet shopping spree. The resulting hybrid artifacts require new expressions of their original qualities, such as a sensitive product behaviors based on true hard-soft integration. This unknown terrain demands new design approaches, specific considerations, and ultimately, the design of integrated and holistic experiences set in context, rather than of individual artifacts or components. For example, it demands that the designer think about the experience of light rather than think directly about the design of the physical lamps themselves. To meet this demand, the designer needs to focus on her exploring by doing and actively experiencing the sometimes subtle differences between various design solutions. Multiple disciplines are needed to solve the design problems of today, e.g. interaction design, industrial design, designers of environments, human factors specialists, mechanical and electrical engineers. Each discipline brings a unique understanding of the issues at hand and an individual approach to solving them. To work effectively as a design team, it is important to develop a common vision of what the team is trying to bring into being. Therefore, it is a powerful asset to have tools and techniques which create a shared experience, providing a foundation for a common point of view. Information becomes more vivid and engaging when it resonates with personal experience. If designers and clients can have informative personal experiences, it is easier for them to grasp the issues and feel greater empathy with both the people who will be affected by their decisions and the experiences users may face. The tools we use to design, such as prototypes, influence the way we think. Solutions, and probably even imagination, are inspired and limited by the prototyping tools we have at our disposal. We have observed ourselves thinking in new ways about what is possible when new materials or design tools become available, such as computer-based drafting, changing the development process. To become more iterative, virtual 3D modeling, influencing the formal design towards more organic shapes and new materials such as Teflon trademark symbol or electroluminescent fabrics, offering new product functions and opportunities for product design. Experience prototyping allows us to engage with new problems in new ways. Experience prototyping in practice. We have identified 3 different kinds of activities within the design and development process where experience prototyping is valuable. Understanding existing user experiences and context. Exploring and evaluating design ideas. Communicating ideas to an audience. In this section, we will explore how experience prototyping contributes to the activity and give some examples from design practice. Understanding existing user experiences.